Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you came along to Paris with my husband and I to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary and you have watched that Paris vlog, you will have seen that there was so much eye candy. There were so many fabulous bags that I could have brought home, any number of them. The bag that I did bring home from Paris is this one, and this is the Loewe Squeeze bag in the small size, in this pinky purpley colour. It's very like the Birkin in the background, or it's also quite like my Chanel Mini in the chevron, which is here. It's that type of colour and I love this. This is quite a new style of bag for me. Normally I go for small rectangle crossbody bags, but I am evolving. This is what came home and I absolutely love it. But let me tell you, I could have brought home so many more. And in today's video, let's have a chat about the bags that were available in Paris, the ones that I loved but didn't make it home and why. Firstly, starting with Dior, and I will put in footage as we go along. We went to the Dior store in the Champs-Élysées. The service, I have to say, was fabulous. It was not overly busy, and there was quite a lot of neutral bags. There were quite a lot of pastel type colours whenever there were colours showing. So this wasn't a store where there was a huge amount of bags that was attracting my attention, but there were a few that were very strong contenders. The first one that I really liked and unexpectedly really liked was the Denim DJoy. I didn't really, and this is the power of influence, I didn't really pay much attention to this bag until I saw this on someone. And when I saw it on them, I thought, ooh, that's cool. That's quite trendy. I liked the way they had worked it. They had it with, I think it was a leather jacket from what I can remember, but the denim just really worked on it. I did see it on Instagram, but I can't remember the account. It was one that just came up, but I thought that it looked very, very well. So I did take a look at this. I did really like it. I thought that it was really quite cool, but I don't think I loved it enough at that point to buy it. It wasn't high enough up my list, I think. And the two in Dior that probably were more contenders than this was the, this bag, was the floral DJoy bag with the embroidery. This was stunning, and I have to admit this very nearly came home. My husband really liked this as well. There was also a blue mini Lady Dior in the sequenced and stones and beaded version, and this was also stunning. When I saw the blue version on the shelf, it didn't really grab me as much as the floral one did. The floral one did immediately. It was my husband that had said, oh, I really like that one. And whenever then I picked it up and looked at it in the mirror, I was a goner. I absolutely loved it. And the reason I think I loved it, I was wearing navy. I had navy trousers on. I had my Louis Vuitton bomber jacket on in the lemon. I had burgundy underneath, and it just really worked. Whenever you set that bag against navy, it just completely changed. It transformed. It became a bag on the shelf that I didn't have that much interest in, to one whenever I actually saw it with my outfit, I actually loved it. And I looked at him at the time and said, look what you've done. This one was, I was leaving this alone, and look what you've done. And that was one I really, really loved. I loved it so much more than I thought I would because of the navy. And I don't really have any blue bags. Blue is not really a colour I go to. Maybe I'm going to have to change that in the future, because this particular bag in shades of blue against navy was fabulous, and it really made the outfit. This was a very strong contender. The reason this one didn't come home is obviously those bags are expensive, and I have the Mini Lady Dior in the jungle scene. I also have bought a lot of sequins recently. You can see the sequenced corner over here. And I can't even really articulate exactly what it was that stopped me. I think it was the price combined with being a bit wary of buying blue because it's not a bag that I normally wear. I was worried that I was getting caught up in the moment on what it looked like with that outfit. I was worried that I wouldn't love it as much when I came home. I was worried that it would sit there and I would kind of about it. And at that price, I didn't want to do that. So I decided to leave that one and think about it. And then it didn't stay in my mind enough once we had left the store for me to think I have to buy that because I'm totally obsessed with it. And it wasn't an instant must buy that. And then when it left my mind, I thought, yeah, I don't think you have to have that bag. And because of the price of it and the amount of bags I have now, I kind of have to have them, if that's the kind of bar for buying them, if that makes sense. The other floral version, oh wow, this was stunning. I could imagine this in spring, summer with light denim, jeans, even just white trainers, plain white t-shirt, and this bag was just going to make the look and I absolutely loved it. Why did I not buy this? This one again, I left to think about it. It wasn't on my mind maybe enough to buy, but it's still kind of been on my mind. I think I was a little bit concerned that it was very floral, and I'm not normally a lover of very floral prints. I also was a bit concerned that it might be a bit pale, and I might not really, a bit like this Petite Mal, and it might not really get that much use. And I was also conscious that when you're looking at that summer spring look, I have a number of bags, and that's why some are going in the vlog sale, of all bags that do the same thing. So that's what was on my mind, but I have to say on this one, it's still floating about in there. The other one from Dior was the crystal pink bag. And on the vlog, in the comment box, a lot of you loved this. It was stunning. It was beautiful. I kept getting drawn back to it and picking it back up and going back to the mirror. The reason I didn't buy this one is, one, I have so many pink bags. I actually have pink bags going because I have so many pink bags. I also think that for me, my favourite tone of pink is the pink with a purple undertone, like the Birkin, like this bag, also like this type of Loewe colour. This is my favourite, and the one that was in Dior was kind of like a bright Barbie pink, which wouldn't be just my favourite, and that's probably the reason why I didn't bring that one home. The tone just wasn't exactly right for me, and with pink bags I know immediately because I love this tone, and yeah, this one just wasn't right. Next is a category all to itself, and it is Hermes. Why did I not bring an Hermes bag back from Paris? Because people go to Paris and they get appointments for the flagship store, and they get leather appointments, and they get Birkins, and they bring them home. I didn't buy one because we didn't get an appointment. Yes, we tried. We both tried. You can try per person that's there with each passport number. So my husband and I both applied for appointments on the nights that we were there the next day and could go for the appointment, and we didn't get one. We tried for the Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and neither of us got an appointment on any of those days. If we had have got an appointment and there had have been a bag that I loved and that we were offered, of course I probably would have bought it. Probably. Who are you trying to kid? If it was a bag that was a style that I liked and a colour that I liked, of course I would have bought it. But there are no Hermes bags to report to you because we just didn't get offered that opportunity. And I think the last time I spoke to a sales assistant in Hermes in Paris, they had told me there are approximately 5,000 people applying for appointments every day, and there are about 100 across the city. So it's tiny odds, and I know sometimes when you watch YouTube, and I have fallen into this trap, you kind of think you're going to go to Paris and you're going to get an appointment because there's so many stories on YouTube of people that have gotten appointments. But when you take that little tiny percentage across all the people that aren't on YouTube or that didn't get an appointment, it's actually an awful lot harder than that. That's 3 times now that I have been in Paris with either my husband or bestie. So we've been applying for 2 people each night, and we've applied every night we've been there, and on all 3 trips we have not got an appointment. So that's just something to bear in mind if you're thinking about Hermes in Paris. Next is going back to Dior, but it was in a different store. This was in the Samaritaine store, and it was the book bag. Now, the book tote, sorry. I'm not a big fan of the book tote, so why were you even considering this, Amelia? The only reason I was considering this is they had 2, a black background and a white background, and it was a Paris bag. It had the Eiffel Tower, and the thoughts of this was completely getting caught up on being in Paris. And oh, imagine having a book tote with Paris on it that I bought in Paris. That's where my mind went. Very expensive souvenir for a bag that you don't even love. I'm not a big lover of the book tote. I do think the small one. Yes, I think the small one I could make work. I don't think that they're a bag that I would use a lot. A tote like that you have to carry, that you can't put on your shoulder at all, that doesn't have the structure. It's just not a bag I think that I'm going to ultimately buy. But because I was in Paris and they had Paris ones, I considered it, which would have been madness. Next is a Petite Mal from Louis Vuitton. And when we were going and looking at pieces in Paris, obviously the main purchase that we were thinking about was for our 10-year anniversary, and I had in my mind that I wanted a piece of fine jewellery for that, and I bought the Fred bracelet, entirely inspired by Dale from Dale's Addiction, but it is the Fred Force 10 bracelet with this gold clasp and the half diamonds, and then I went for like a petrol blue colour on the bracelet, and I absolutely love this. I haven't taken it off, although I did fess up in the unboxing video. I don't know how to take it off. I have read the instruction booklet, I have watched the videos that some of you kindly sent to me on YouTube, and Dale has told me the trick to get it off by yourself, and I still can't do it. The only way I can get this off and on is when my husband does it. But to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't be taking it off anyway. I would maybe take it off at night and put it back on in the morning, but I've just been sleeping in it and showering in it and swimming in it with my children and when I swim myself, and hopefully that's what fine jewellery is for. So we weren't really focused on spending most of our budget, I say that loosely, on handbags, but I did have in my mind that I would potentially like to look at a petite malle, because I think that I have accepted that I would collect petite malles. And I have said to you often, I am not a collector. I am not a true collector. Meredith, my great friend, is a true collector. I have collector tendencies. So there are certain bags that I want to collect. I have the multicolour Louis Vuitton Speedy because I like to have it and it sits on decor and it's as a collection. I want to have it. I wanted to have the Alma in the Vernet leather that is sitting out there also because I wanted to have it. But a true collector like Meredith will have a set of bags and she will collect the collection. So there will be denim, for example, and she will work through them trying to collect every single one. That is not me. But my collector tendencies, when it comes to petite malles, wow, they come out strongly. They come out kicking. I love this bag. I think, as well as being one of my favourite Louis Vuitton bags, this is one of my favourite bags of all bags. These little things, I just love them. They're hard, the case of them, I don't know what it is. I just can't explain it. These are one of my favourites, and I think that I could get drawn into having a collection of those. That's not good, Amelia. I know it's not good. At the minute, my collection is a collection of things that appeal to me. It's a collection of artifacts that are a bit like art, wearable art, that I collect them. And in most of these bags, you can see me. You can see if you know my personality and channel and bags that I go for. It's a collection of bags that are me. I would like to collect a collection of petite malles that are me. There are some of them I'm not interested in, so it's not as if I would want to track down and purchase, thank goodness, every single petite malle that's ever been produced. No, that's not the case. Like, this comes in red. I don't want that one. I wanted the pink one. But I think I would... This is the first time I've actually articulated this and admitted it, even to myself. I think I would like to collect the petite malles that appeal to me, that call to me from across the room. It's not my fault. Amelia, buy me. Yes, I'm trying to justify the unjustifiable. I just love them. And I think through time, this is not something that's going to be a sprint. It's going to be a marathon because they are expensive and I'm still going to want to buy bags that I just love. But I do want to keep adding petite malles. So when we went to Paris, and the whole point of that tangent was when we went to Paris, and this bag was with me in Paris, but when we went there, I did have in my mind that I wanted to see if they had any special petite malles. And I will put some pictures on the screen as we talk about this, because I did ask in the Vendôme store and I asked in Samaritaine about petite malles. And the special petite malles that they had were mostly exotic, and I don't buy exotic. And they had a beautiful, beautiful light pink one that was just stunning. And if I bought exotics, I probably would have bought this. It's very like one Dale has, and it might even be like very like Dale's, but it was beautiful, but I won't buy exotics. They then had some others that they did get me pictures of. There was an event going on in Paris at the time where a lot of the bags were at a hotel in Paris. And it was, I think, an exotic and trunk event. So they could have got it for me, or they also said, we will get you into the event if there's any of these that you want. And none of them really. There was one that I will put on the screen that was the closest that I thought, but I was kind of just, it's petite malle and I love it and that's kind of cool. That's not what I want to collect in them. This was the closest, but yes, the rest of them weren't really grabbing me enough. I know in my own head, I know I can't articulate it very well and I've said that 3 times now, but I know in my own head what it would need to be for me to buy one. So that's why a petite malle didn't come home, because they just didn't have one that was striking enough or was calling me enough that I wanted to add it. They did have beautiful ones, but just that fits with what I want to add. That's the reason why there's not a petite malle home from Paris. I did, of course, buy my very first, where is it? That one, the monogram one. I bought that in Paris. It's very special to me when I went to Paris with Bestie for my 40th birthday. So that bag carries a lot of meaning for me. So buying one in Paris would have been fabulous, but it just didn't work out that way. Now, to the exceptionally difficult part of the video. Another bag that doesn't have me gripped as much that I want to collect it as the Petite Mal does. But they keep bringing out so many darned fabulous, beautiful versions of it that I'm almost being dragged kicking and screaming into collecting these bags, because there's just so many of them that are stunning and that I want to add and have. This is to collect. This is just because I absolutely love them. Let me grab some. Yes, of course, it is the Capucines in the mini size. The mini size is going to grab me more than the larger size. Let me grab the BB. This is the BB in the Arty Capucines. Stunning bag. Stunning, stunning, stunning. You can see, if you know my collection, why this called to me. But generally this size is not my most preferred. The minis? Fabulous. Love. Not my most used bags, because not the easiest to use, and if you're looking at one of these, they're very expensive. I have a review of these and I talk about how annoying they are. So even though I love them and still buy them, but if you're looking at one, do watch that video, because it will give you an informed look and a very frank look at what it's like using one of these and having one. But I love them, and this is where I really fell in Paris to bags that I really wanted to buy. We'll talk about why I didn't. I had watched Melinda's videos from Paris, Luxe Purse Love, before I went, so I knew there was going to be a lot of Petite Mals. Not Petite Mals, I'm obsessed. I knew there was going to be a lot of Capucines, and if you watch Melinda's video, you'll see that, I watch the video, watch the unboxing. You'll see that there's a lot of Capucines. So I knew I was going to be seeing special versions of these, potentially more than the Petite Mal. We went firstly to Vendôme. And in Vendôme, they had a green, almost like a malachite colour of a mini Capucines, and it had the flower crown. So the flower crown is where it has the half of the Louis Vuitton symbols coming across here. They're beautiful. And the green in that was absolutely stunning. And when I tried that on, I had on green trousers. Beautiful. Absolutely beautifully, beautifully beautiful. And the reason I didn't buy that, let's try and reason this out, even to myself. I think I would have preferred that bag without the flower crown. The sales assistant, when I said that to her, looked at me in horror and shock and despair. It is beautiful, but I think that in that particular colour, I think I like the malachite colour so much that I would have liked it to be plain in that colour rather than having the hardware across the top. And that seems counter to what I normally like, because normally the more the better when we're looking at embellishments. But that is kind of the reason why I didn't buy that one. I was very, very close, and I was very close because the colour was so strikingly fabulous. When I really got into trouble with wanting to buy the Capucines was in the Samaritan store. Oh my golly goodness, it's where they kept the pretty, it's where they kept the mini Capucines that called to me. There was a beautiful soft greeny type colour bag that I'll put on the screen. Oh, this was so soft and so beautiful. I absolutely would have bought this had it not been fur. When she brought this out, part of me was going, please let that be a soft wool. Please let that be whatever they make teddy bears out of. I knew it wasn't, because this is Louis Vuitton we're talking about, and it was mink. I'm not buying fur, I don't buy fur. So the only reason that didn't come home was because of what it was made out of, but it's absolutely beautiful. If you're a fur lover, this bag is absolutely stunningly, stunningly fabulous. And had that been some form of synthetic fur or shearling or something that I will buy, that would have came home. Beautiful bag. When I said to her how much I loved the colour in that, she also brought out this one that I will show you, and this was the same type of colour. Slightly lighter maybe, but it had a water snake flap across it and handle. I didn't love this as much as I loved the fur one. I do think I would like one all in that colour. The reason I didn't like the water snake one, even without it being water snake, was the flap and the handle. It's not that I didn't like it, but didn't buy it. The flap and the handle were different colours. even if we're ignoring the fact it's exotic. I would prefer one, a solid colour in that colour, but wow. They then also had a beautiful navy one that didn't strike me as much. That would be more a Deb bag, I think, but it was very beautiful. They then brought out a burgundy type one. It was a red in a deeper red, and this bag was beautiful. It had a deeper red and it had the flap across it that was ostrich, and the handle I think was maybe ostrich, and the hardware, again, exotics. There was a lot of exotics, but there was an event on in Paris. So the event, as I said, was trunks and exotics. So that's what you were seeing a lot of. Helped my bank balance. But this was ostrich, and this was burgundy. It was beautiful. But we know the reason that didn't come home. The one, the one, quite like Neo was the one in Matrix, is this red. I'm obsessed with it. I can't get this out of my head. It is living rent free. I have talked to Anita in Dublin about this bag. I have talked Deb's ear off about this bag. Deb from Wild Unfiltered, obviously. I love it. I love the fact that the hardware, this part, and all the hardware and the attachments are the same colour. They're red. They're a bit like the black bags that they have out at the minute, where they have the black and they have they're like the So Black that used to come out from Chanel. Black matte hardware, only a red version. And it's beautiful. And it has the same clasp as this one. So this one has the hooks on the side, whereas on this one, and I've talked about this in videos, you attach the straps in here and across there. This actually makes quite a bit of difference in respect of how usable this bag is, and I know that sounds like it's minor, but it does when you're using this. This has a thinner strap that goes here and makes it much more usable. Much more usable. The red one has that. It's not a bright red, which works better for me. It's almost like a muted red. It almost has a very slight pink undertone, but it's definitely red. And it's the red hardware on it. We're home from Paris now, coming 2 weeks maybe, and I have thought about this bag every single day. I know that makes me sound sad, and I know some of you are going to say, do you not have a job and children and dogs and a life and a husband? Yeah, all those things, but we all have quiet moments in the day. And yes, obviously I do spend some of my time thinking about much more important things than handbags, but this bag has crept into me a lot. And it didn't help obviously that I was filming and editing the videos and putting it together, but it has crept in a lot. I think it's stunning. And I can't get it out of my head. Why did I not buy it? Honestly, we were in that store before we were going home to the airport. We had just bought, where does she be? This one. We had bought this in the Samaritan store in Loewe, and I wanted this as a more everyday bag. This obviously is also not the price of one of these, but I wanted one of these, and I wanted it for a specific, yeah, that just fell over, ignore that. I wanted this to wear crossbody, winter, across me, bigger bags close to the body. So I specifically wanted that style of bag. I was not going to buy another Capucines. I would have bought another Petite Mal. The other Capucines, I was thinking, you've got 3 mini Capucines and 1 BB. You don't need another one, don't need any of these, but you definitely don't need another one. And we were about to go to the airport. We'd bought that bag. We had bought this. I have been in New York recently, and I will link down below, for anybody that hasn't watched it, the Paris vlog, the unboxings, and the New York playlist. I spent a lot of money in New York. And money is not infinite. And that's the only reason I didn't buy it. I thought about it. I loved it. I would have bought it. I thought about it at the airport. I thought about it on the plane. I regretted not buying it. But the only reason I didn't was the price, and because of how much we'd already spent. And it's maybe a good job that I didn't do the vlog sale before we went, because if I had already done the vlog sale and bags had sold and there was additional monies, I probably would have got carried away and probably would have bought more on this list. The red bag, I wouldn't have regretted that. I think that's living rent free, but I probably would have bought more of these because that money would have been sitting there almost burning a hole. And when in Paris, I mailed the shops. So I'm kind of glad we didn't do that, but this red one, that's the only reason we didn't bring it home. I love it enough to buy it. I'm kind of obsessing on it. And this one, yes, this is fabulous. So that is my roundup of the bags that grabbed me the most in Paris. Obviously there were a lot more bags. There was the Inside Out Neverfull, which I have now seen, tried, looked at, is not for me. Certainly not in the ones that they had in store. There was, as I say, a lot of neutral bags. There was a lot of neutral bags, especially in Dior. There was a lot of pink bags in Chanel, but they were a baby type pink. They weren't the type of colour that was really grabbing me. So there was a lot of other bags, but these were the ones that were the main bags that just got in there. And then obviously I wanted to explain to you about Hermes, because I do think it's important people know when you go to Paris, it's not as straightforward as getting the appointment. It's actually very, very difficult. Let me know, what is the bags out, or what is the bag? I am so caught up in this, I can't get my words right. What is the bag out of all of these that you would have found the most difficult to leave behind? And what do you think of the one that I chose? Connor, don't answer that. Versus the ones that I didn't bring home. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for being here. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing. If you have enjoyed this anyway, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video for you on the screen to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.